Hey, did you know families pay 40 to 50% more in Highlands Ranch for the exact same square footage you can get in Aurora? After helping a couple hundred families find their perfect Denver suburb over the last decade, I've learned something important. Success isn't about finding the best suburb, it's about matching your lifestyle and budget to the right category of suburb. Today I'm exposing Denver's best and worst suburbs ranked by what actually matters to you. All right, now imagine you're driving through Castle Pines and suddenly you feel like you've entered Colorado's version of Beverly Hills. Yeah, these aren't just houses, folks. We're talking about custom estates that make you do a double take. And Jack Nicklaus himself designed the golf course here. Yep, that same Jack Nicklaus. Now, if we take a look at a map, Castle Pines sits about 25 miles south of downtown Denver. Now, when people ask me what makes this place so special, I always tell them the same thing. It's not just about the price tags, though trust me, we'll get to those. You're looking at homes starting around $800,000, but most honestly, folks here are probably dropping well into the millions. But here's what really gets me about Castle Pines. These homes sit on actual land. I'm talking tree-lined lots, sometimes full acre and more. And you know how rare that is around Denver these days. So you're getting CEOs, some professional athletes, a lot of business owners, people who could live anywhere they want. Why Castle Pines? Because they can hop on I-25 and be downtown or at the Denver Tech Center in no time flat. Now that makes it one of Colorado's newest cities, which means everything is modern. You get underground buried utilities, brand new infrastructure, all of that. The country club at Castle Pines is also consistently ranked as one of Colorado's best golf courses. Now, Rock Canyon High School pulls a 9 out of 10 rating. Oh, if you want that data on Thornton, we're getting to that later, and it's wild. Property taxes run about 0.51% of your home's value, and on a $1.2 million place, that's roughly $6,100 a year. So the bottom line, if you want privacy, space, and to protect your investment while living like you're on a permanent vacation, Castle Pine delivers. Now, speaking of different experiences, wait until you see Aurora. But first, if we haven't met yet, I'm Gary Bradler. I've spent the last decade helping people buy and sell homes all across the Denver area. So if you're thinking about making Denver your next hometown, don't hesitate to reach out. All of my contact information is down below this video. All right, let me be real with you about Aurora. This city gets a pretty bad rap sometimes, but it's actually one of the smartest places in the Denver metro right now. With 386,000 people calling it home, Aurora is Colorado's third largest city, and it's got something most other suburbs can't touch, and that is actual affordable options. While everybody's crying about Denver prices, Aurora's median home price is sitting at a nice $480,000. So do the math. That's about $120,000 less than the metro average. Over near Havana, you can snag a solid starter home for $350,000. Want something fancier near E470? Sure, you might push $600,000, but you're getting brand spanking new construction. The transportation situation here is honestly a little ridiculous in a good way. 6 light rail stations between the R line and the H line. You get direct shots to I-225, I-70, and E-470. While people in the western suburbs are sitting in traffic, for an hour, people in Aurora are already at their desks. Now look, Aurora's got its rough spots. Part of Colfax, areas near Montbello, they need a little work. But then you've got Saddle Rock and Towns Reach, both legitimate master plan communities with golf courses and schools that rival anything in Highlands Ranch. And the renowned Gaylord Resort brought serious convention business here to town. Amazon's got multiple warehouses here as well. And the new Aurora Highlands development, which is 3,100 acres of brand new everything. Now, property taxes run about 0.55%, and Aurora runs its own utilities, so your monthly bills often beat Denver proper. And if you work at Anschutz Medical Campus, DIA, Buckley, you just cut your commute to pretty much nothing. The secret with Aurora is knowing the neighborhoods, like really knowing them. So now let me show you a place that turns the tables completely. Every Friday night in summer, Old Town Arvada, it really comes alive. You get live music, packed patios, kids with ice cream. You know, it's honestly crazy that most Denver folks don't know this is happening just 20 minutes away. I think Arvada might be Denver's best kept secret. 124,000 people live here across 35 square miles. Median home price is about $585,000. Not cheap, but you can get a lot for your money. Now here's what makes Arvada special. The location is perfect. Golden is just 35 minutes away, but you don't even need to leave town for outdoor fun. Clear Creek runs right through the city, and people even fly fish on their lunch break. The G line gets you to Union Station in about 20 minutes. You've got easy access to I-70, Highway 93. Pomona High School scores 8 out of 10. The big story in Arvada is Candelas, this massive development that covers 1,500 acres on the west side of town. They're building 5,000 homes over the next decade. Now, townhomes start about $550,000, with custom homes going over $1 million. Now, Arvada has about 125 parks, 90 miles of trails. Now, the families moving here could afford fancier suburbs, but I think they picked Arvada because it's real. It's an actual community, not just nice houses. These buyers want, you know, that great mountain access without living in the mountains. They want city benefits without maybe some of the city problems. They want neighborhoods where people actually know each other. Now, speaking of fancy suburbs, wait until you see what happens when 80,000 people flood into a tiny neighborhood every single weekday. Okay, this is wild. 16,000 people call Greenwood Village home, but 80,000 people flood in every weekday for work. Now picture that, this little 8.5 square mile suburb transforms into this buzzing business hub at 9 a.m., then quiets back down to this exclusive neighborhood by dinner time. It's kind of a strange rhythm, isn't it? That's your opportunity right there. Most folks lump Greenwood Village in with other wealthy Denver suburbs, but they're missing the point. This is basically the Denver Tech Center's backyard. We got 15 million square feet of office space packed into these 8.5 miles. Now the median home price shows $915,000, but that's a little misleading since it counts condos too. Now, if you want the truth, for spots such as Cherry Hills Farms and Glenmore Country Club, you're starting at more than $2 million minimum. Now, last week I toured a place on Polo Club Drive that was asking a little over $5 million. Here's where Greenwood Village gets really interesting though. Years back, the city basically said no more overdevelopment. They created some building rules so that the developers run the other way. Most areas require 1 acre minimum lots, so everything I told you about exclusivity gets turned on its head when we look at Littleton's hidden gems. More on that soon. Now, what's that mean for you? Your Mountain Views stay your Mountain View. Cherry Creek schools handle education here. Every single school scores 9 or 10s, really good. Average ACT scores hits 24.5, highest in Colorado. Now, the inventory situation, a little brutal. Last count showed 15 homes for sale in the entire city of Greenwood Village, 15. Now, when something decent pops up, buyers go crazy. I've watched cash offers come in 20% over asking just to win it. What gets me is these buyers could pick anywhere on the planet, but they picked Greenwood Village because it proved itself decades ago. Now everyone thinks money automatically flows to places like Greenwood Village, but Broomfield, that's where the real tech explosion is happening. And honestly, the numbers are about to blow your mind. Now, you know what? Oracle, Level 3, Ball Corporation, and Vail Resorts figured out before everyone else. Broomfield sits in the perfect spot. 16 miles from Denver, 16 miles from Boulder, and that's not luck, that's pure strategy. Over 75,000 people live here. Median home prices run about $625,000. Nothing flashy about those numbers until you start digging into what's really happening. And Interlochen is the key. It's Colorado's second biggest employment center after downtown Denver. Got roughly 30,000 jobs, averaging, great $95,000 salaries. But it's not just tech companies. When tech companies struggle, half these people are still building satellites or developing medicine. The Baseline project brings 1,200 homes, starting in the mid 500s. Arista near the First Bank Center already added 2,400 homes with this cool urban village setup. Actually feels like somewhere you'd want to hang out. Here's a number that should grab your attention. 7.2% annual appreciation for 5 straight years. Denver County, only 5.3. That gap tells you everything. Back in 2001, Broomfield did something brilliant. They became their own city and county. And you know what that means? When they want something built, it happens. The B line already connects to Union Station, but they're adding the Northwest rail line by 2028. So multiple train options while Park residents keep dreaming about even getting one. The smart buyers see what others miss. Boulder's access without Boulder's $900,000 prices. Job density matching downtown without, of course, the hassle. These families aren't chasing prestige. They understand that 30,000 high-paying jobs in one area means property values keep climbing. Broomfield won't impress anyone at dinner parties, but when these buyers see 70% appreciation in 10 years while Cherry Hills sits at 30, they'll be the ones smiling. Speaking of smart plays, let me tell you about a billion-dollar bet that just happened in a place that everyone ignores. Simon Property Group just wrote a massive check, and they don't throw away money just for fun. Now, most people blow right past Thornton on I-25 without a second thought. Big mistake, huge. $510,000 median price, which feels like winning the lottery these days. Holly Park and Green Gables are spots you can still find decent homes under the $450,000 price point. But here's what everyone's missing about this place. While everybody else whines about commuting to downtown Denver, smart buyers have figured out the game has changed. Work at Lockheed Martin, Ball Aerospace, DIA, you're having dinner while everyone else sits on I-25. Quebec Highlands and the Gardens are building new homes from $550,000 up to $650,000. Want to know something crazy? The exact same house costs 20% more in Westminster or Broomfield. Same builder, same floor plan, just 20% extra because of the zip code. Now you might be wondering how this connects to Highlands Ranch premium pricing. That's coming up next, but let me finish this first. That Denver Premium Outlets development, it's massive. They're basically creating a whole new downtown, and they picked Thornton, not Lone Tree, not Highlands Ranch. So here's the investor secret. 3-bedroom rentals go for $1,900, $1,950 on average. Run those numbers with today's prices and you actually get positive cash flow. Those aerospace engineers with security clearances make perfect tenants. Property tax rates sit at 0.54%, which is the lowest in the metro area. Now, crime dropped 15% in the last 3 years, and it's Colorado's 6th largest city, has about 145,000 people, but it still flies under the radar of most people. This isn't flashy, it's just smart. Everyone else fights over leftovers in Highlands Ranch, while Thornton buyers quietly build real wealth. So speaking of Highlands Ranch, imagine what happens when developers get unlimited budgets and absolutely no chill. You're about to see why families obsess over test scores like it's the Olympics. Now, Rock Canyon, Mountain Vista, Thunder Ridge, every high school here scores 8 or above. You know how crazy that is. Most suburbs pray for one good school. Highlands Ranch has 5 high schools and they're all crushing it. Now that's what happens when 96,000 education-obsessed people build a community. We're talking 22,000 acres of master planned everything in Douglas County. The median price sits at $675,000, which I know isn't cheap, but people who compare Highlands Ranch to regular suburbs are totally missing the point. Now this place operates like its own universe. 32 different neighborhoods, each with their own personality. One of my favorites, Backcountry, makes you feel like you're in the mountains. East Ridge is a young, family-centered spot. Firelight is where a bunch of executives live. Now let's be honest at why families really move here. The schools Douglas County runs, 16 elementary schools, 5 middle schools, 5 high schools, just within Highlands Ranch, all with 95% graduation rate. They have top 10 SAT scores statewide. And you know what that does to home values? They never drop. Even during 2008, Highlands Ranch just paused then kept climbing. Property taxes with metro districts hit about 0.65%, so HOAs run about $1,800 a year. Yeah, it sounds like a lot until you add up what you're not paying for separately. The buyers here want everything handled perfectly. Great schools, guaranteed property values protected, everything just works. But if you think Highlands Ranch has growth potential locked down, wait until you hear about the water rights deal that just changed everything for Parker. Okay, this is the story nobody's telling you. Parker just locked down water rights for 50,000 more homes. 50,000. Now in Colorado, where water rights are harder to get than Broncos season tickets, Parker just hit the jackpot. Now check this out. 5 years ago, 45,000 people lived here. Today, 58,000. That's not growth, that's an explosion. The median price starts at about $625,000. Now Cottonwood townhomes start about $425,000. The Pinery, 2.3 million. Downtown Parker pulled off something pretty special. They kept those old Western buildings from the 1800s, but inside there's craft breweries, farm to table spots, pretty awesome. Parker Days, which is this festival, draws about 250,000 people to a town of 58,000. So here's what changes everything. 20 Mile, 3,100 acres, 7,500 homes, 2 million square feet of commercial space. They're proposing a brand new hospital. This is basically building a second Parker. First phase opens next year here in 2026. Charles Schwab plans to create 2,000 jobs here. The Parker Tech Center is adding office space right here on Lincoln, and the annual appreciation rate, it's 8.1% since 2020. So your $600,000 house from 2020 is worth over $800,000 today. With 50,000 homes coming, it means this rocket's just launching. Infrastructure's ready, water secured, jobs are growing locally. This looks exactly like Highlands Ranch did back in 1995, except Parker's moving faster. Meanwhile, Littleton's doing something completely different. You see those 1970s ranch homes that everyone's gutting and rebuilding? The ones sitting on quarter-acre lots with original hardwoods and kind of weird layouts? These are gold mines. Developers would kill for that land. Here's what's happening in Littleton that nobody's talking about. 48,000 people packed into about 13 square miles, and it's completely built out. No empty fields, no phase 2 coming soon signs. What you see is all there is, and it's getting harder to find. Median home value is about $595,000, which sounds reasonable until you realize you're only 10 miles from downtown Denver. Chatfield Reservoir becomes your own backyard. Now those old ranchers I mentioned, we're talking 2,000 to 3,000 square feet on lots nobody builds anymore, and trees older than most suburbs. A lot of my contractor buddies say these bones beat anything built after 1990, back when they used to use real 2x4s. Now Main Street's gotten crazy good. The View House has 2-hour waits for Sunday brunch. Breckenridge Brewery's flagship is right there. Angelo's for fancy Italian. You can of course walk to everything, not that fake walkable where you still have to drive, but actually walk. And Hudson Gardens hosts concerts that sell out. They don't charge admission either. The Littleton Museum is free also, plus Chatfield Reservoir, 3,900 acres, just 5 minutes away. Now school districts get tricky here. Most areas pull solid 7s from Littleton Public Schools, but certain streets, you're in Cherry Creek territory. Same town, different schools, totally different test scores. The street you pick matters. Now, Arapahoe Community College keeps things interesting. It brings in younger crowds. Their theater program means real shows without the downtown hassle. And that brings me to my final suburb, Louisville. So first things first, it's Louisville, not Louisville. Pronounce it wrong and everybody knows you're not from here. That's your first test. Now I saw a Money magazine called Louisville the #1 place to live in Colorado, but here's what they didn't explain. This town stays perfect by basically telling growth to get lost. Over 21,000 people live on 9 square miles between Boulder and Broomfield. That's it. No annexation plans, no exciting expansion opportunities. They built a wall of open space around the city and said, we're done. Median home price shows $765,000, but that includes the condos. So truth is, you're not getting a decent house under $800,000. And honestly, the people here wouldn't have it any other way. The housing here tells you everything. Those old mining cottages downtown that housed coal workers, now they're $800,000 historic gems with Tesla chargers in the restored carriage houses. Steel Ranch has new builds starting at $900,000, and those are the affordable ones. Davidson Mesa is where reality gets crazy. Custom homes on multi-acre lots run $2 to $4 million. Downtown Louisville makes Boulder's Pearl Street look like just a mall. They literally chase the chain shops away. Every shop is local. Every restaurant's owned by someone who lives here. Now get this, 2,000 acres of open space locked inside city limits. So that's about 35% of the entire town that can never be developed. You got Harper Lake for paddleboarding, Coal Creek Trail connecting to Boulder's whole system. You can literally bike to Boulder without seeing a car. Here's Louisville's secret. They're not trying to become the next anything. They built exactly what they wanted, then basically locked the door behind them. You're buying into something that's finished and determined to stay exactly like this forever. Now look, every one of these suburbs is somebody's perfect fit. Now the mistake that people make, they shop for price instead of lifestyle. And the difference between a great decision and a costly mistake is knowing exactly which neighborhoods are about to pop and which ones have already peaked. So if you're serious about making Denver your next hometown, this is the time to start planning. Now the market moves pretty fast and the best spots get picked up quickly. So make sure you shoot me an email at info@hometowndenver.co and I can help you figure out which neighborhoods fit your budget, your lifestyle, and your timing. Now, don't wait until you're already here and rushing to find a place. So let's get ahead of it and make this move as soon as possible. And make sure you check out my other video where I break down the 7 places that I'd personally choose to live if I were relocating to Denver this year. Thanks again for watching. See you in the next video.